Governing body of Clatsop County, all county service districts for which this body so acts, and as the Clatsop County Local Contract Review Board is now meeting in regular session. Please join me for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have the roll call, please?
Here.
Commissioner Lee? Here.
Commissioner Sullivan?
Here.
Commissioner Thompson?
Commissioner
I
Thompson,
can't
can you
hear
hear us?
anything, but I assume it's my turn and I'm here.
All right, thanks for calling in.
Glad to do it.
Before I move for a motion to approve the agenda, Commissioner Nebeker has requested that we pull item 7B, correct, County Manager? 7B?
I think 7A, B, and I.
Well, here's Commissioner Nebeker right here. Sorry.
And I would also like to pull H.
H, okay, so we're gonna start with the top. We're just getting ready to approve the agenda, but I know that you wanted to pull a couple items off the consent calendar. So sorry to rush you.
Oh, it's okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Yes, I'd like to pull, let's see, A, the jail contract approval, put it on the business agenda.
Okay.
See, that's, yeah. And the B, item B,
Item B,
and item I believe. Let's see, that's any of them that are over, yes.
so we've got Commissioner Nebeker has requested items 7A, B, and I, and Commissioner Sullivan has requested item H. So I'm going to make a motion to approve an amended agenda that moves items 7A, B, H, and I to the business, we're going to just make a new business, county business, and move those items to there.
Second.
So we've got a motion, a second, to approve the amended agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We have some presentations tonight. And I'm glad to see such a great crowd here, and I think it's for some of our presentations tonight. Our first presentation tonight is our Volunteer Appreciation Awards. And I'd like to welcome the county's volunteer coordinator, Jane Duncan. Jane, welcome.
Thank you. Commissioners and guests, so good evening and welcome also. Thank you for coming tonight. My name is Jane Duncan and I am the volunteer coordinator for Clatsop County. Since 1974, National Volunteer Week has celebrated ordinary people doing extraordinary things for the benefit of communities across the nation. It is with deep gratitude that we are here this evening to highlight the enormous contributions that our local volunteers make every day. Clatsop County volunteers fill many roles. They keep our parks and roads clean, feed and care for homeless animals and find them good homes, share compassion and direction with at-risk youth, rescue lost or stranded people, teach our youth valuable skills, respond to emergencies and disasters, and bring their knowledge and experience to various advisory committees and boards. In short, they represent the best of citizenship and giving back. We cannot imagine local government without the talents and time of our dedicated and generous volunteers. They are the backbone and the lifeblood of Clatsop County's public services. It is only with their contributions that our programs are successful. In 2016, a total of 518 volunteers donated 17,940 hours of service to the county, based on the value of a volunteer hour set by the organization that sponsors National Volunteer Week, the Points of Light Institute. This represents a monetary value of $422,655. In recognition of National Volunteer Week, April 23rd through 29, we come together this evening to honor the individuals and groups who volunteer their time and expertise for the benefit of the county and its citizens. At this time, the board has before it a resolution in order to proclaim April 23rd through 29th, 2017, Volunteer Week in Clatsop County.
Thank you. Well, I have here a proclamation, and first I'm going to read the proclamation, and then we'll look for a motion. In the matter proclaiming April 23rd through 29th, 2017 Volunteer Week, whereas the entire community can effect positive change with any volunteer action, no matter how big or small. Whereas volunteers give their time and expertise while expecting no compensation and are essential to the success of many educational, health, cultural, safety, and human service programs. Whereas the giving of oneself in service to another empowers the giver and the recipient. Whereas our county volunteer force of over 500 is a great treasure. Now therefore, be it hereby resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Clatsop County honor and thank the dedicated volunteers of this county who give so freely of their valuable time, energy, and abilities by proclaiming this week of April 23rd through April 29th, 2017, Volunteer Week. And in keeping with the theme of this year's observance, Service Unites, the Board of County Commissioners encourages everyone to acknowledge the invaluable service provided by all the volunteers in our community who come together to build stronger, more vibrant communities through service. Dated this 12th day of April, 2017, Clatsop County Board of Commissioners. And I don't think I need a motion.
I don't.
Yeah, somebody want to make a motion to
For what?
volunteer?
Oh, I'll make that motion. So move.
All right, thank you. And second? We have a motion second, authorize the chair to sign the attached resolution in order proclaiming April 23rd through 29th as Volunteer Week. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Commissioners. Chair Lee, would you like to join me for the presentation of the awards?
Thank you.
Check, check, check. Let's see how we can do this. All right, now for the fun part. Our first 2016 Outstanding Volunteer Within a Group Award goes to Ashley Licklider. Congratulations, Ashley. Ashley was nominated by Stephen Hildreth, Animal Control Supervisor. The committee tasked with evaluating nominations was immediately impressed with Ashley's dedication and unfaltering commitment to the animal shelter. There are more than a few dedicated volunteers who contribute an incredible 10 hours per week. Ashley routinely contributes at least 22 hours a week. Ashley's at the animal shelter every day, all day, to ensure each dog available for adoption gets the exercise it needs. She spends the entire day walking them, but also while out on walks, she works with them to teach them tricks and basic canine etiquette, like how to sit for a treat. Using backdrops, Ashley photographs the dogs and updates their intake photos to ensure that their pictures on Pet Finder and the Clatsop Animal Assistance Facebook page represent them well. As if that weren't enough, she learns as much as possible about the background of a dog to understand its needs and subsequently best match it to a potential new family. And she then also introduces dogs to potential owners in the meet and greet area. The benefits of Ashley's volunteer work at the shelter are felt by shelter staff, County residents seeking to adopt, and last but not least, by the dogs waiting to be taken home. So, Stephen, would you like to say a few words? Congratulations, Ashley.
Ashley has been volunteering at the shelter. She started in November of 2015. Now, out of all that 17,000 hours, Ashley herself did in 2016 1,163 of those hours. So she's a dedicated young lady. She sometimes is the only one out there in the downpouring rain or the windy storms walking the dogs. So she is a valuable asset to us. We give her a hard time at times, but we really do like her and enjoy having her out there. She doesn't always believe that, though. So congratulations, Ashley.
Our next 2016 Outstanding Individual Volunteer Within a Group award goes to Dawn Hillgartner. Is Dawn here? Congratulations, Dawn. Dawn was nominated by Emergency Services Coordinator Tom Manning. Okay, is it Hillgartner?
Yes, it is Hillgartner. Like
Hillgartner. Okay. Thank you. Dawn Hillgartner is an extra class licensed amateur radio operator who served in the active duty Air Force National Guard as communications NCO. He has many skills in and knowledge of emergency operations and communications in a fixed facility as well as field operations. As leader of the Radio Emergency Auxiliary Communications Group, also known as OXCOM, it's easier to say, Dawn handles recruitment and directs the utilization of OXCOM volunteers in response to needs assessed by the Emergency Management Division Manager and other agency officials. Everything from technical issues involving message format and security of message transmission to disaster welfare inquiry, policies, and others are part of detailed local operations planning. Dawn assists the county's Emergency Operations Center and communities across the county by providing emergency communications and, when the need arises, coordination of life-saving resources. Nominator Tom Manning wrote, Dawn Hillgartner has distinguished himself and has dedicated his volunteer service by reestablishing our radio amateur civil emergency service and OXCOM volunteers in Clatsop County. He developed communications teams located throughout Clatsop County and implemented a new training program for our volunteer communicators. He also assisted in the development and fine-tuning of our new Emergency Operations Center at Camp Rylea. He has put in hundreds of hours for the betterment of emergency communications in Clatsop County. Congratulations, Dawn. Tom, would you like to come up? You get flowers, too.
You're not going to get away that easy. We really appreciate Don Hillgartner. He's put in so many hours in some of the emergencies that we've had just recently when our 911 centers went down. He took charge, put amateur radio operators in all the fire stations as well as the 911 office so they could coordinate that. And just on a moment's notice, he went there, he got it going. When I came there, it was already operational. So he does a fantastic job, and we really do appreciate the good work that he and all of our volunteers do in Clatsop County. Thanks, Don.
Yeah, not only the fire stations, but also the sheriff's substations. And I want to say that I feel honored on this, but I am accepting this on behalf of all of the auxiliary communications and ham radio volunteers who are spending not only hundreds of their volunteer hours at no cost to the county, but also volunteering the use of their thousands of dollars of radio equipment in order to support emergency management and our emergency services partners in police and fire in preparing for the next big one. Thank you.
This next award is the Outstanding Advisory Board Volunteer, and it goes to Allison Tigard. Is Allison here? Allison was nominated by Emergency Services Coordinator Bijan Fayez, who could not be here tonight. But I believe Don Frank is here. Yes. Hi, that's right. Allison Tigard joined the Clatsop County Arts Council in 2016 and immediately made an impact. In addition to her knowledge of and experience in the arts, she applied her advanced computer skills, strong interpersonal skills, enthusiasm, and positive attitude to quickly become the Arts Council's most valued member. When Allison joined the council, the county commissioned Arts and Prosperity Economic Impact Survey project was underway to gauge the economic impact of the arts with the goal of furthering grant and capital improvement opportunities countywide. It was through Allison's tireless efforts that the project requirements were met. She attended every surveyable event for the final weeks before the deadline, traveled across the county on multiple occasions to administer the survey. She personally collected almost 200 surveys, which ultimately exceeded the project requirements. Bijan wrote in his nomination, quote, "Allison exemplified both the tenacity and the dedication required of an outstanding volunteer. Her professionalism, understanding of administrative and logistical needs and practices, and her comprehensive set of skills in arts administration helped the council complete its first major project. She worked tirelessly for weeks to ensure the deadline would be met, and she conducted this all while planning her wedding." Congratulations, Allison.
Hi, my name is Don Frank. I'm the chair of the Arts Council of Clatsop County, the AC. And it is true, we did undertake our first big project, which is an economics and prosperity study for the arts for the county, which the results will be out in May. So look forward to those. But it is true, Allison took us over the top at the last 4 weeks because there was a deadline, and she did cruise around the county attending arts events and asking fine people like yourselves to fill out surveys and stuff, which honestly is not always as easy as it sounds. But she, and also her husband Mike, who they did get married during this, really did it together. So to Mike also, thank you, and Allison especially, thank you for really making our project go and come to fruition. Thank you so much. You bet.
So the next award is the 2016 Outstanding Volunteer Group, and it goes to the Underwater Recovery Team. Do we have the members here tonight?
We have everybody on the team come on up.
I recognize shirts. Shirts. Congratulations. The team was nominated by Sheriff's Deputy Sergeant Matt Armstrong. Matt, are you here? No, Matt?
Okay.
Are you here for Matt?
Are here for me, yes.
Okay, this year the Clatsop County Underwater Recovery Team volunteered more than 300 hours of service to the citizens of Clatsop County. 2016 was a particularly challenging year with many call-outs for water recovery. One particularly challenging call involved an airplane that crashed in the Columbia River near the East Basin. The team made several dives under hazardous conditions, including low visibility, strong current, moving wreckage, and trapped victims. They were able to locate and recover the bodies of 2 occupants. The Underwater Recovery Team helps bring closure to the families of victims recovered from the water, which allows the grieving process to proceed. The team specifically benefits the Sheriff's Office and is also used to aid in criminal investigations that involve any body of water, including streams, rivers, lakes, and the ocean. Though they are volunteers, they do professional level work for the benefit of the county, its citizens, and visitors. Sergeant Armstrong wrote, "Being a diver on the underwater recovery team is not something one can do half-heartedly. Divers must pass a physical, endure yearly testing, and be willing to be called out at all hours to jump in a body of very cold water. Our team is made up of a group of highly dedicated members who strive to be the best at what they do." Thank you very much. Congratulations. So Matt, would you like to say, you are the nominator, would you like to say some words?
All right. Like Jane said and Matt wrote in his description, these guys are phenomenal men and women that we have. There's a lot more on this dive team than you see right here. They're dedicated. They come out all hours of the night and morning and day. They have regular jobs. And to get in water that you can see this far in front of you and to be able to recover bodies in aircraft is absolutely amazing. They, I forgot to tell Deputy Humphrey to take his hat off, but take your hat off. Okay, there you go. So anyway, we're in a building. Anyway, I'm just kidding. So I dealt with the two families on this. Sergeant Phillips was in charge of the team at the time on the last airplane crash, but and the families were just absolutely couldn't believe that we were able to locate these two bodies. Not we, they. And bring an immense amount of closure to these families. The other thing is they also, there's a lot of incidents that occur on this river and in lakes and stuff, from children to people being crushed by boats and fueling and docking and so on. So these guys are out there all the time. A lot of people think that the Coast Guard handles these calls. The Coast Guard, by their policies and procedures, really aren't allowed to go beneath the surface of the water. They're rescue swimmers, not rescue divers. So when a person gets tangled up in a prop, crabbing or boating or something, these are the men and people that go out and recover. So we owe them a huge thank you, and I can't say enough for this team and everything that they do. So thank you very much.
And now I would like to introduce our 2016 Volunteer of the Year, Jerry Gaidos. Is Jerry here? Congratulations. Jerry was nominated by Sheriff's Deputy Sergeant Matt Armstrong and Lieutenant Matt Phillips. Jerry Gaidos served as a volunteer chaplain for the Sheriff's Office for many years. Having served as a police officer in Portland for several years before coming to the county, Jerry understood the challenges and heavy responsibilities that officers face every day. He began by going on ride-alongs, being approachable at the police stations, and offering advice and counseling, and in so doing built lasting relationships with both the Sheriff's Office and local police departments. He was always available and accompanied officers to deliver death notifications, helping to console grieving family members. In their nomination, Armstrong and Phillips described Jerry's big smile, encouraging word, and infectious good attitude as ever present. When Clatsop County faced the unfathomable loss of Sergeant Jason Gooding of the Seaside Police Department, Jerry provided the needed support for the entire Clatsop County law enforcement family. He was there right away and simply made himself available to anyone who wanted to talk. Over the course of the following weeks, he remained available and also officiated at Sergeant Gooding's memorial service. As his nominators put it, chaplain is not a glamorous job. You meet a lot of people who are experiencing great loss. In these times, Jerry was able to give them kind and encouraging words and was someone they could talk with. Jerry has retired from the Sheriff's Office and moved to Malala to be closer to his family. We want to thank Jerry for all the time he spent volunteering at the Sheriff's Office, but also recognize that he was a volunteer to all of Clatsop County. Thank you, Jerry.
Jane said that the volunteers, is this on, are ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And anyone that's had the pleasure to really get to know Jerry would know that he's an extraordinary person, and he does extraordinary things, but often people don't know about it. It's usually in the shadows, and it's surrounded by someone's deep grief. And that really speaks to me how altruistic he is, how much he genuinely cares to give his time to that small group of people. And February 5th, 2016 was a real hard time for local law enforcement. And that night, Jerry came out. He had spent the years building the relationships, and he gave us the structure and guidance that we needed as a local law enforcement community to continue and drive on. And for that, I am very grateful.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you to all Clatsop County volunteers. We appreciate everything you do for the county. And that's for Jerry. Thank you very much. I'll turn this back over to Commissioner Lee.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming too, and the families and all the volunteers. Thank you.
And please, eat food. Take food with you. Eat, drink, and be merry.
I know you. I see you walking on it. Grandchild swimming into the pool and it's like deja vu all over again. I'm back in the pool.
Funny watching her though, because you're like, you know, she's watching.
It strokes a little off on, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Oh, cool.
And then of course,
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
I know it's, it's so exciting.
Enjoy.
We will.
Thank you.
David, could you close that door? And we'll... I don't think there's going to be any cake left out there at the end of the meeting. All right.
I had mine first.
Okay, we're going to move on. We have some more presentations tonight. Our next presentation is Elaine Bruce from Clatsop Community Action. Welcome, Elaine.
I wanted to, can everybody hear me? I know it's a small group.
Actually, I need you.
Yeah, we can.
Because it's on recording.
You can turn that microphone any way you'd like if you'd like to talk to the, however you want to go.
Yeah, you could put the chair on this side, and as long as you're talking into the mic, it's okay. Thank you.
Do we have the handheld microphone still? Like would you prefer a handheld microphone?
I can sit.
Okay, whatever works for you.
Okay, I wanted to talk to the Board of Commissioners tonight and also to the public that is here today. I think many of you know, because it's more visible, our regional food bank, because the trucks are driving around and all over Clatsop County. And last year they distributed over 1.8 million pounds of food, which translates to almost 1.5 million meals throughout the county. They serve over 40 meal sites, all the Meals on Wheels, all the food pantries, the shelters, all receive the food distributed by the Regional Food Bank. And I invite anybody who is interested in taking a tour that hasn't been out there. The warehouse is located behind Costco. It's a fascinating, extremely efficient operation. Marlon Martin, who's at the Oregon Food Bank meetings the rest of this week, otherwise he would be here. He's a genius with logistics, and his goal is to make sure that the food that gets processed through the Regional Food Bank gets directly to the people in need. It doesn't sit at the warehouse. So we're very proud of that. I wanted to talk to you tonight a little bit about the other programs that are less visible that we do in Clatsop County. And I'm going to talk to you about our information referral service, our housing programs, our energy assistance programs, and our special yearly projects that we do. So.
Elaine, are those your glasses there?
That's all right, I can see. There we go. Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, what does CCA do? I know our main administration building and where our case managers and our information referral staff is right across the street. Kind of the green wood framed windows right at the corner. We kind of share a parking lot with the Labor Temple, so our parking lot always smells like bacon. But anyway, we do quite a bit of work out of that office with a small staff. We do extensive information referral service to all the other community partners, not just the specific programs that CCA offers. We work with all of our community partners. I see Mike with Public Health seated behind me. We work with Clatsop Behavioral Health. We work with DHS. We work with Northwest Senior Services and Disabilities. We listen to people's needs that walk in to that front door. Every day we see about 200 people a week that walk through that door. And they have various needs. Some people show up and they're living in their car. Some people are in danger of losing their housing because maybe they have a medical issue that just happened and they're in danger of being homeless because of that. We try to serve people where we see them and what their needs are through all the programs, but we also make sure that they are aware and they receive all the other services that Clatsop County Community Partners offer. Last year, we opened a second information referral office inside of Providence Seaside. That was pretty exciting because we can better serve the South County through that office. And it's located right at the front desk as you walk in the main hospital. And we have a 40-hour-a-week bilingual person who will see anybody in the county, in the South County area, not just the people who are associated with the Providence Seaside Hospital. So he's seeing anywhere from 10 to about 12 people a day that he's serving. And it's nice because a lot of our programs are eligibility based, and a lot of the documentation that they need to bring to our office in Astoria can now be dropped off down in Seaside. So we offer supportive housing programs. We have 10 different programs, and what that means is that we make sure that we assess everybody who is in need of housing, whether they're completely homeless or, as I said, in danger of losing their housing. The goal is to not just put them in an apartment, but to make sure that through case management, they receive all the supports with the ultimate goal of self-sufficiency. We have 5 different energy assistance programs that are utilized for Clatsop County residents to help with energy payments. That's extremely important because the rents are very high in Clatsop County. The housing market is very tight. A lot of the landlords can charge pretty much what they want, so our clients that come to CCA are often paying 60 to 70% of their total income just for their rent. So if they can help offset their heating and cooling and lights bill, that can help them maintain their housing. So they work in tandem. So our housing assistance programs, we have 2 direct contracts with HUD, and they're designed to serve what they determine as chronically homeless families, those with disabilities, and veterans. The focus of HUD kind of changes periodically, and right now it's homeless families, especially those with disabilities and veterans. They're talking about eventually serving the homeless youth. Youth is defined maybe 18 to 27 years old, and maybe even younger. That's a new trend that you see just nationwide. So that is kind of a program that changes about every year, but they pay close attention to that. CCA plays a role, and I'll explain that towards the end of my little presentation about the counts that the national HUD agency in Washington, D.C. receives. CCA plays an integral role in the counts of the homeless for not just our clients, but all of Clatsop County. So we have kind of 2 programs. One is permanent housing program, and the other is called rapid rehousing program. They require 25% matching funds. So we try to leverage the other program funding that we receive, like say through United Way or the City of Astoria, the City of Seaside, to provide that 25% match. Together We House is a partnership program, housing program with Clatsop Behavioral Health, and it's designed to help chronically homeless people that are homeless because of a severe and persistent mental illness. So we have 8 slots that we are able to house people with. It works very well. We work with Clatsop Behavioral Health's case managers and our housing case managers to make it all work. There's a program that's funded by the state called Home Tenant-Based Assistance, or TBA as we call it. It's administered through NOAA. It's an excellent program because it's designed to keep people stable in their apartment or house, and many of them are in danger of losing their house because of a medical issue. So that prevents them from being evicted from their apartment and then showing up at our front door across the street. So it's an excellent program. It's just something that's not visible that we administer every day. Housing Stabilization Program is a federal program, HSP. It requires a 100% match. So again, those local funds are used to help leverage that particular program. Emergency Solutions Grant, that's another federal program. County Manager Cam Moore was kind enough to sign this year in support of our yearly application. That's, again, going to be 100% match. It's currently 25% match, but they're getting tighter in the matching funds that they require. Emergency Housing Assistance is another state-funded program. That's a great program. We use that often with those that are homeless or that need rental deposit assistance. We operate the State Homeless Assistance Program, which is essentially pass-through funds that we receive through the state, and we distribute them to Helping Hands shelter down in Seaside. And this year we started giving the Harbor, which is the domestic violence shelter program a try at this program. There's extensive reporting required, and we've taught the harbor how to do it in partnership with CCA. We partner with Meyer Memorial Trust and NOAA. Northwest Oregon Housing Authority is the local recipient of HUD funding, and they distribute the Section 8 housing program, and also this last year they started to receive VASH, which is the veterans sort of version of a Section 8. This is a special grant where we're partnering with the Meyer Memorial Trust, and it's a 3-county deposit loan program. It's not a grant, but we currently have, I believe, 20 families in that program, and we set them up with a budget. If they are able to pay back a deposit that they need to get into a house, we set them up with monthly payments through NOAA, and so far it's working very, very well. I think we have more than Columbia and Tillamook County in that program. And it also is great because we teach a lot of budgeting to these households and families that may have never received that particular type of budgeting, just basic, household budgets. And if they've lost their credit, this is an opportunity to help them get that back. Yes?
Yeah, I'm, as on the NOAA board, I'm very familiar with the deposit loan program, and and I was wondering, I think last year we had 100% payback on the loan program. Is that correct?
I think there was one that we handled that she left the program because of a severe mental illness.
So
She
only
was kind of
one out of the 20 recipients.
Yes.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah, it's all in the assessment. The upfront assessment makes a big difference. And we assess their capacity to participate, and we check their budget to make sure that they're able to pay it back.
It's a great program.
So it's a great program. We're very, very pleased to offer it. Tillicum is what they call a project-based housing program that's sponsored by Clatsop County Housing Authority, which is now under NOAA. Commissioner Lee is familiar with that. This program is ending June 30, and we're sorry to see it go. And what it is, it's 2 fourplexes behind Costco, very close to our regional food bank. And this is the poorest and the most desperate, challenging families with extremely poor rental history. Many of them have mental illness and drug and alcohol issues, very, very chaotic families. So CCA is unfortunately losing that case management contract, but we're trying to work with Clatsop Behavioral Health on a transition plan so that the families continue to receive support after our case managers are no longer able to participate. So we're working with CBH on that currently.
Why did you lose that?
It was funding. We were notified by Clatsop County Housing Authority that funding is just sunsetted.
Okay.
It's state funding that they receive.
Okay.
The Tillicum housing, the 2 fourplexes will still remain, but they just won't have the support from us. Of course, we'll still support them. If they come to CCA or call us, we'll treat them like any other person, but we won't get the special home visits and so forth that we're doing now.
So the idea was that it's a kind of wraparound care to help these families that had a lot of chaos to go
Yes.
through the normal functioning of budgeting and paying rent and all of that.
Right. Very, very severe challenges. But some people can graduate. We've actually graduated them to Section 8, or we have one graduate who is completely self-sufficient, and she works full-time at one of the canneries, and she is now a member of our board of directors.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And she's a good board member, too. She contributes to the discussions. So we have another special a very special program that I'm very proud of. It's called Supportive Services for Veterans and Their Families. How it works is that, similar to the other housing programs, they have a case manager, or in this particular case, she calls herself a housing navigator. She and her assistant are both veterans themselves. That connection is huge with veterans. A lot of them are hesitant to come to CCA to look for housing assistance. A lot of them are very proud. They don't like to seek out help. We try to make it very welcoming and let them know that they deserve the assistance. So it offers, it's kind of a transitional financial assistance program with the goal of permanent, stable housing through long-term funding and or employment. It's interesting in that for Clatsop County's veterans that we see in our program here versus, say, Columbia County, our veterans seem to be more completely homeless, and those with many medical, very instability with medical issues. Kind of an interesting population demographic. But we're successful with that. Nell Eero is retired Coast Guard. She was a captain of a ship and then an executive officer of another ship, and her assistant is retired from the National Guard from the Portland area, and they do some incredible work with some pretty significant barriers that cause veterans to be homeless. Their outreach and their vet-to-ver peer connections are hugely essential to that engagement and program success. What we're doing now that Clatsop County has the VASH program, which is the voucher similar to the Section 8, a lot of times we can offer them the temporary financial assistance to get them housed, and then we can turn it into a VASH, long-term stable housing. And we have two excellent clinical case managers that drive over from the Veterans Hospital System in Portland, and they do the VASH interviews. And we've been very successful in stably housing. I think this last year we did over 35 veterans and their families. Our new Seaside office came into a veteran and his family that were living in the shelter over at Helping Hands in Seaside, and his wife was being treated in the oncology department at Providence Seaside, and met Marcelo at the desk, and he worked with Nell and got him connected with her immediately, and got the family out of Helping Hands and into an apartment in Seaside. Unfortunately, the mother passed away because of her cancer, but the two little girls under the age of 12 and the dad are now permanently housed in Seaside. So that's a good success story.
Absolutely. As some of the vets that you see, are they unaware or just not connected with what they're eligible for benefits? Is this part of the program that you help them get connected with what they're eligible for?
Yes. And this program is very different because this program casts a wider net than the regular VA benefits. So we can house them, but some of these vets may not be eligible for the other VA benefits. It's very interesting.
And then don't you also have vouchers for vets, but you can't find housing because of the market, it doesn't cover it, and you can't, there's a shortage of housing for vets also?
We've actually not been able to find a house.
Good.
We work very well with the landlords. And that's essential, and I know that in other counties, I think Columbia County has a difficulty with finding, but we've been able to successfully house everybody that's eligible.
That's great.
So, we own Hilltop Apartments, which is here in Astoria, up on the hill, just down the street from the Peter Pan and across from the Pioneer graveyard, and that's 22 units up there, and that came to CCA in 1994 as a result of a grant that the agency received, and it stays full. We try to keep it definitely below what they call fair market rate. So we offer it to very, very low income families. There are 2 and 3 bedroom units up there. So we stay busy. It's nice and close. I'm running up there all the time to try to put out some fires, but we do a good job, I think. So. And in my note at the bottom of the slide, we work with every landlord possible. We do a lot of work with Emerald Heights, Aspen Apartments, Seaside Rentals, Sowens, all the private property management and landlords that we can. So we try to develop relationships with them. They see the value in what we can offer because there's less turnover. If we can keep somebody stabilized, it's costs the landlords a lot less money. And they have another person to call if there's an issue up at, say, Emerald Heights. They can call us, and the case manager can go up and kind of help mitigate the situation. So we work pretty hard to keep people housed. So our energy assistance, I briefly mentioned it before. We offer what is called LIHEAP, and I think County Manager Moore is familiar with that program, having worked with that maybe in Illinois. That's a federal program designed, we could use it in this county for those individuals that are hooked up with Pacific Power, Northwest Natural, and the Clatsop PUD. So we serve about 150 households a year with that program. Oregon Energy Assistance is kind of the state version of that program. We serve about 600 Clatsop County households a year with that. We work also with Northwest Natural Gas customers, a program called OLGA and GAP. Heat Oregon is a trust fund that's a combination of Pacific Power and Northwest Natural Gas. We work with about 85 households a year. And then we work with Clatsop County Sheriff Department. We haven't had a woodlot program since, I think, the latter part of 2015, but when the Clatsop County Sheriff's Department has a good amount of wood that they receive, like from road clearance or storm cleanup for low cost, they will call us, and we distribute the vouchers on behalf of the Sheriff's Department at no cost, and we make sure that the people who are income eligible for that program are able to receive vouchers. And what the families can do is they can purchase either a half of a pickup or a full pickup of wood at an extremely low cost. So that's a successful program. So the significant yearly projects that we do, the Project Homeless Connect is a big event that we have in Seaside, where we spearhead the event every year, and we asked to have the participation of over 45 community partners that coordinate with CCA to identify the needs and connect the homeless and those near homeless that could be living with families or couch surfing with friends. We connect everybody. It's kind of like a one-stop shopping, but we also use that event to do our homeless count, what we call point in time. And that's always done yearly, and this is done throughout the United States. It's to identify a number of critical yearly homelessness that are part of a larger state and nationwide statistic gathering process, so that Clatsop County can continue to receive funding from both the state and the federal government. So it's a very well executed, coordinated event. They come in, they're welcomed, they sit down, and we do an assessment, find out what their needs are. We have volunteers that escort them to the different partner tables so that they don't have to wander around and find who they need to talk to. And it's an excellent event. And then we do a exit interview, and then we have that number of that we process through the state, and then they bump it up to the federal government so that they have an accurate picture of the true number of homeless people in Clatsop County. We also work with the school districts to get the number of kids in those homeless families to make it a well-rounded, good effort at getting a good number. So we publish a resource guide, which is a little handbook. I should have brought one, and we distribute those at no cost to really any agency or around town for those that need it. And that's something that we publish every 2 years. It's used very widely, and it has all the community resources that people who are homeless or need any kind of help can get. And as I said, anybody can walk through our door. We try to present ourselves as anybody that comes to CCA, there's no wrong door. If we can't serve them, we want to make sure that they find the agency or office that they need to serve them. We'll make sure that they get what they need, not just say, no, we can't do this for you. So I wanted to just also, at a request, I wanted to talk about with the commissioners and the county manager's permission, I will be asking for an assessment on a property that was gifted to CCA back in 2013. And it's about a little over an acre. It's a property that you'll see all the signs on it. United Way has a sign on it, and it's overgrown with alders, but it was gifted to CCA in 2013 by my predecessor, who had plans to eventually, I think, operate part of CCA's regional food bank gardens out there. We don't have the staffing to operate and maintain that area, so we've been paying taxes on that property because it's not currently used for nonprofit use. And we're aware that that's the state definition, but we would like to at least ask that that property be reassessed. It's assessed now at about $143,000. We're paying about $2,500 a year in property taxes because we're not able to operate it. We had it for sale, but the city planning has determined that it's not buildable. It's not even, doesn't even have the capacity to just be paved. Therefore, we've actually tried to give it away. I've offered it to the Oregon State University Extension Gardens. I've offered it to several of the churches. I've offered it to Sunset Empire. I thought maybe they could use it as a turnaround. I'll still continue to try to find a home for that property, but I would ask that we at least have that property reassessed so it's not assessed at $143,000.
Does it look like it'd be good for gardening if someone was able to do that? Does it get good sunshine and water drainage?
I believe it could. There's no water access on it, so you'd have to make sure that, you'd have a water, but it could be developed. I think raised gardens is the only thing that the Planning Commission will allow. It's got a real history of a slide above it, and there's a long history and a lot of mistakes with that property, unfortunately. And CCA's mistake was accepting it without doing due diligence. So, but we have it, so it could make a fantastic garden if somebody had the time and effort to do it. We work so thin at CCA, we just can't.
Where's it at?
It's across from Safeway.
Oh, okay.
It's you can see where all the United Way puts a sign up there.
Oh, yeah.
The Midsummer, the Scandinavian
Yeah.
Festival will ask to put a sign up there. So it's just an unfortunate property, and it's so.
Do we make a motion for that to have it?
No, you can't. This is done by the state. The Department of Revenue regulates this. The county commission has no say in this. It is assessed by the assessor. You have to be a licensed appraiser to do that. The appeal rights from an appraisal are to BOPTA. There was no appeal this year to BOPTA. There could certainly be an appeal next year. There's also a process for a review based on new information. And since the city recently made the determination that there was nothing that could be done on this property, that would be a basis for requesting the assessor's office to do a review, which they would be allowed to do under the law. But appraisals and assessment are very, very strictly controlled under the authority of Department of Revenue, and if the county wants its tax revenue each year, it needs to follow the Department of Revenue laws and rules. So the assessor's office controls that, and this particular piece, there was no appeal, there was no evidence contrary to what had been done last fall.
Okay, so she's here now, and she's asking for help. Is there anything that we as the county can do?
There is nothing that the county commission can do. She can go in and request of the assessor a formal review, and at this point, the assessor has the authority to do that because of the determination made by the city. There would be evidence
That's what I was
to do
wondering.
that.
I was not intending on going and assessing the property myself, so I just wanted to.
Yes, and
her.
I'm aware of that process, and I've filled out the forms to do that. I've read the manual. So I just wanted the commission to be aware, and I was advised by the assessor's office to present to the Board of Commissioners just to make them aware, so.
So we'll take a look at that, follow up, if you filed appropriate paperwork, so.
And I'm learning all the time. I appreciate what you had to say, and I appreciate what you had to say also, Heather. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, Elaine, can I ask you about the property on Cam, the property that is that appropriate to talk about at this time?
I was going to give a little update under my report at the end.
Okay, that works for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry. I do forget that, don't I?
All right. Our next presentation is Tracy Erfling from Family Planning. Welcome.
Good evening. Mike McNichol, Clatsop County Public Health. Following up with our discussion with Dr. Duncan a couple months ago, that was a big hit, so now we're going to bring out our other big hitter, Dr. Erfling here. I'll just do a brief introduction. Dr. Erfling began her private practice and worked with Clatsop County in 2001, so she's been a long-time employee with us. She's a naturopathic physician and received her degree from the National University of Natural Medicine and her undergraduate degree from Willamette. Her community work in Clatsop County includes a board position on the Astoria Parks Recreation and Community Foundation. She mentors through the Lunch Buddies program and is currently on the Oregon Board of Naturopathic Medicine. She is also the wife of Jack Harris, owner of the Fort George Brewery and Public House, and has a 13-year-old son, 2 dogs, a cat, and a leopard gecko. So what we decided to do, we wanted to introduce, we do have some brochures you probably have in your hands, so you can look through some of that. We just have a quick presentation and we'll go through it. I am the flipper and she'll be the talker.
Thanks, Mike.
Teamwork.
So as he stated, I've been with the Clatsop County Health Department since 2001. It's actually kind of fun to be sitting in this room because this used to be the waiting room of the health department. I don't know if you guys all knew that. But so this was where I first started doing my health department work, was in this very building. And now we have a beautiful new building, which I'm sure you all are aware of. So the purpose of the Oregon Reproductive Health Program obviously is to develop and recommend policies that prevent unintended pregnancies. And we do our due diligence to educate as well as provide services to the young people in our community and make available a full gamut of contraceptive options. The pamphlet I handed out to you is something that I hand out to students when I go and talk in high schools. So you'll see that one side has our very logistical information about the services we offer, and then the back side has this nice little chart of the actual contraceptive options that I go through with them. But Mike said I couldn't bring condoms and diaphragms with me today, so you just get the handout. Next, please. Our funding comes from a variety of sources. Obviously, at this point in time, people are using a lot of their private insurance funding, but when that's not utilized, then we fall back to the Oregon Contraceptive Care Program, or actually the federal Contraceptive Care Program, which is called C-Care, as well as Title X dollars that go towards, at this point, mostly our Hispanic population that are undocumented, and so those people can receive our services through that funding. Next. As you can see from this particular map, there's reproductive health clinics all over the state. Ours happens to be one that offers both Title X and C-Care, which is kind of a unique combination of funding sources, as you can see, for the only family planning clinic in our county. So the services that someone is able to receive under the Title X funding is that they can get physical exams. We're trying to increase our outreach to men, because obviously it takes two to tango in that sort of situation. So we are trying to outreach at this point to teens, because we have a kind of a captive audience in the high schools. But certainly we offer these services for men to come in and get not only contraceptive counseling, but exams as well. For women, we do breast and cervical cancer screenings. We test for a variety of STDs. We offer some infertility services. It's not the full gamut, but at least can start them down the road of that. Birth control, certainly, and then lots of reproductive education and referrals. I have to give kudos to Dawn for that fancy transition. Yeah. The Oregon C-Care program offers, as you can see, a lot of the same services. And the deal with when you're using multiple funding sources, you have to keep all those services kind of same for everybody. So as you can see, a lot of those are the same. So these are kind of some old statistics, and I'll let you just read through those. I have some of the newer ones in hand here. So every year we have the Reproductive Health Coordinators Conference, and they give us metrics for our particular clinic. And so the couple that I'm picking out to let you guys know about today is that in 2015, our agency averted 94 unintended pregnancies, 22 of which were teens, that's under 20, 72 of which were adults. So in 2015, the average cost of a delivery is about close to $17,000. So this means that with the 42% of those unintended pregnancies that we averted being unintended, we have saved the Clatsop County taxpayers upwards of $655,000 for averting unintended pregnancies. The other thing I want to point out is that we do a lot of testing for STDs as well. And so our agency in 2015, screened close to 70% of our incoming family planning clients for chlamydia and gonorrhea, for chlamydia specifically, which the statewide percentage is about 55. So we are doing very well with that. Also, cervical cancer screening is really important in our clinic. We screen, around 90% of the women that come in, and that's not annually anymore, but in general, for their routine screening, we're screening about 90%. Again, statewide numbers are closer to 40%. And that's of note, too, because Clatsop County has one of the highest rates of cervical cancer in the state, so it's really important that we're keeping up on that screening. So as you can see, there are both me, I am the only provider doing the doctoring services, but we do have a variety of nurses, and these are the hours and different services that each of us can provide individually. Next. And then these are the litany of birth control options available at the health department. So in the last year, we've always done IUDs and IUD and IUS as an intrauterine system because it has hormone in it as opposed to IUD, which is just actually a thing. And so these long-acting methods, IUDs and Nexplanons, which is an implant that goes into the upper arm, these are things that I'm both putting in and removing from women. And these can give women a longer activity of birth control. So we're seeing across the board in reproductive health, we're seeing our numbers go down because women are using more of these long-acting methods. So they're not needing to come into the clinic nearly as often, which is great for preventing pregnancy. But it does kind of reflect a downward trend in the numbers of clients that we see, which is not bad. It's actually kind of good. And I think that's it. So any questions?
Do any of the commissioners have any questions or comments?
I do. So, who is eligible to come to see you?
Yeah, so anybody of reproductive age is eligible to come. We typically are seeing women between, I'm going to say about 13, and then basically around 52 is when we graduate women from the program. Sometimes we'll run a test just to make sure they're actually menopausal, but if you're of reproductive age, then, and men, they luckily have their entire lifetime. They could come see us.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and we also offer, you know, for men, obviously one of their main methods is condoms, but we also offer referrals for vasectomy. And Dr. Duncan did that for a long time, but then just in this past year said, I'm done doing that. So we've now found another doctor that we're partnering with at CMH who's now going to be providing those services for us. So we'll be able to continue doing those referrals. So men can basically get a free vasectomy through our program, which is awesome.
Commissioner Sullivan?
I think this is a little bit different, but Mike, you were talking at the goal-setting meeting about I'm not going to be able to pronounce it, the vaccine they want kids to get to prevent cervical cancer.
Oh, yeah, HPV, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is that connected with any of this?
Yeah, well, she can explain it because she does most of it.
So HPV is the virus that is linked to cervical cancer. So we are seeing all of our young women that come in, we get a printout of their vaccines, and it's a 3-part series. And so we note, or I should say I note, when I see them for the first time, whether or not they've had that series done, and are recommending that to women, and they're eligible between the ages of basically 11 and 26. I'm usually seeing them more like 15 to 23 typically. So if they haven't had that series, or if they only had part of their series, we're certainly recommending that they finish that up, and of course making them aware of protecting themselves with condoms and so forth. And abstinence. Certainly another method we
How long
mentioned.
has this vaccine been in use?
About 10
I'm
years.
going to say like 5 years. I'm totally guessing on that, honestly, but.
And is there, you hear things that problems can develop?
Yeah, so I'm just going to take off my health department hat for a minute and put on my naturopathic hat, because certainly we hear controversy about about vaccines, and it creates a challenge to advise something that maybe has some adverse effects that have been reported, but overall, putting my other hat back on, the chance for a vaccine to protect somebody from cancer is kind of cool. And so I think that in a lot of ways outweighs the potential risks. Now someone that experiences an adverse effect may not have the same opinion, but if we look at it in the broad spectrum, that would be my take on it. Does that answer your question?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Because HPV, if you happen to get it, is the #1 leading cause of cervical cancer. So if we can prevent that, especially in this county where we're seeing high numbers, that's something that is a worthy goal. I did have one other quick update before I leave. So as you remember, we're doing a syphilis outbreak response. Today we had an interesting case where we had a person at the jail actually test positive, who then admitted that he has a pregnant girlfriend. So we actually then followed up and will test and treat them, so we actually may have prevented a real tragedy. So I think that in and of itself is success.
Congratulations, that's great.
All right. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you for your
Excellent.
service. I appreciate it.
Okay, we have some proclamations today. And our first proclamation is Child Abuse Prevention Month in Clatsop County. April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month. In 2016, in Clatsop County alone, more than 120 children were victims of abuse and neglect as determined by the courts, a number believed to be well below the actual number given that many cases go unreported. The proclamation urges citizens to be more aware of the effects of child abuse and neglect in order to help foster healthy parenting in healthy communities. And I'd look for a motion to approve the resolution.
Chair Lee, I move to approve the resolution proclaiming April to be Child Abuse Prevention Month in Clatsop County.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution proclaiming April 17 to be sexual assault. Whoops. That's proclaiming April to be Child Abuse Prevention Month in Clatsop County. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. I'll read the matter. In a matter of proclaiming April 2017 to be a Child Abuse Prevention Month, every child is precious and deserves to grow up in a healthy, safe, nurturing environment, free from the dangers and harmful effects of child abuse and neglect. Child abuse and neglect impacts our entire society and can cause traumatic psychological, emotional, and physical harm resulting in long-term economic and societal costs. Child-focused prevention and intervention programs offer positive alternatives and outcomes for children and encourage families to develop strong, durable ties to their communities. Child abuse prevention succeeds through partnerships among parents, child welfare agencies, mental and physical health care providers, schools, law enforcement agencies, churches, businesses, and community members by fostering loving, supportive, and violence-free homes. All citizens need to be more aware of the effects of child abuse, neglect, and prevention in order to encourage and model healthy parenting in healthy communities. Now, therefore, it be hereby resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Clatsop County proclaims April 2017 to be Child Abuse Prevention Month and encourages all residents to join in this observance. Thank you.
Chair Lee, Darcy is here. She's a new employee, and she has something to present regarding, relating to that.
Oh, right. Welcome.
Thank you. So, good evening. My name is Darcy Cronin, and I just started last Monday as the county's prevention specialist in the juvenile department. And I just want to commend you all for this proclamation and to thank you for your commitment to preventing child abuse in our county. And if you haven't seen them already, hopefully you're aware that we have these pinwheels for prevention, and they are basically a symbol of what we hope for our children in this county and across the country and world, that they have a safe and carefree childhood. And so these have been placed at the courthouse for the last couple of weeks, and we, Jill and I, took them down to Seaside in front of the swim hall down there, and they'll be there for the week. And then on this upcoming Tuesday, there will be the Light Up the Night walk on Tuesday starting at 5:30 at Baked Alaska, and we would like to invite you all to join us that evening. And I've got some pinwheels for you, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a comment. Thank you.
And this
I
is
used to
what,
love these.
Just speak into the microphone. So one of the things that we have done is that there's a what you can do to help strengthen families, and so this is a brief list of what anyone in our community, whether you're a parent or not, can do to help strengthen families. And for our families, one of the things that we distribute throughout April is a calendar that has activities that you can do with your family to just bring up awareness. So for today, the activity of the day would be to practice crossing the street safely with your child. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
I know I've talked about this before in meetings, about the ACEs study, Adverse Childhood Experiences. And for anybody who's not seen it, or if you'd like to review it, be sure and look it up. You can see it online. You can read about it. It's compelling. 17,000 case study done showing what adverse childhood experiences, and of course this child abuse is one of big one.
Yeah, and very lastly, we did, this week, we had two screenings in the county of the film Resilience, which
Good.
very much goes into detail about the ACEs study, and not just the ACEs study, but what's being done in communities across the country. And we are definitely planning to do more screenings and to get this information out to all of our residents. So.
I think it's really eye-opening for people. It seems obvious to some of us, but when you see this, it kind of changes something in the way you think about people. And it's information and knowledge that is so important for everyone to see, whether you have children or you don't have children, because it answers a lot of questions about why do we have so many of these problems and how to prevent it going forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
I have to pick up my son. So.
Okay. Our next proclamation is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. This proclamation recognizes the prevalence of sexual assaults in Oregon and the efforts of individuals and groups in prevention and the support of victims and survivors. I'd look for a motion to approve April 2017 to be Sexual Assault Awareness Month in Clatsop County.
Chairman, is that what you said?
Yeah, make a motion.
I'll make a motion. I move to approve the resolution proclaiming April 2017 to be Sexual Assault Awareness Month in Clatsop County.
Second.
We have a motion to second to approve the resolution proclaiming April 2017 to be Sexual Assault Awareness Month in Clatsop County. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. In the matter of proclaiming April 2017 to be Sexual Assault Awareness Month, sexual assault affects Oregonians every day, whether as a victim or survivor or as a family member, friend, partner, neighbor, employer, or coworker of a survivor. Oregonians of all gender identities experience sexual violence, including an estimated 1 in 4 adult women who has been the victim of rape and nearly 1 in 5 men who has experienced sexual violence in their lifetime. Certain populations in Oregon experience much higher rates of sexual violence due to systemic oppression and inequity. Compassionate, courageous, and dedicated individuals, local organizations, and other partners have provided services and support for victims and survivors and worked to prevent sexual violence for decades. Every individual and community in Oregon has a role to play to help eliminate sexual violence by working together to promote social change. Be it hereby resolved that the Board of the County Commissioners of Clatsop County proclaims April 2017 to be Sexual Assault Awareness Month in Clatsop County and encourages all residents to join in this observance. Thank you. Okay. I see that this is a time for business from the public, and we have no business from the public today. Then we'll move on to our business agenda. We have a number of items that have been taken off the consent calendar at the request of...
We need to approve the consent calendar.
Excuse me?
Approve the consent calendar.
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you. Thank you. First, I'll look for a motion to approve the amended consent calendar.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion to second to approve the amended consent calendar. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Now we're going to move on to some business items. Our first item is on our business is item 7-8, well, we'll call it 7A, pull it off the consent calendar. It's item page 13. This is the jail intercom contract approval. May I have the staff report? Good evening, David.
Good evening. David Diefenbach, Capital Improvement Manager. Item before you is a request to approve us to go ahead and replace the intercom at the jail. Intercom was installed, I think, around 2002, and it's time to be replaced. The manufacturer doesn't even exist anymore, and we're very concerned that we may have a failure at some time, and so we would like to replace it, and we'd like your approval. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, David. Yes, this seems fairly straightforward to me. The purchase has been budgeted in special projects for the 2016 budget. Looks good. Does any of the commissioners have
The
any
reason
comment?
that I asked for it to be pulled in other items of these higher amounts is just because, well, because anything over $30,000, I think it's worth our review, just so that the public knows that we are fiscally responsible. That was my reason.
Very good, yeah.
I appreciate that, thank you.
Up to, and just for clarification, basically, anything, the county manager, anything that goes over $30,000
Yes.
is put on the consent calendar or the regular business agenda. And so basically, then you're welcomed, if you want clarification, to pull that off, to present that as a regular business agenda item. And I understand where you're coming from, and I support that. If you feel that you would like more clarification from staff or from the county manager, and I think that's appropriate.
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
Great. So I would look for a motion, or if there's any more questions for staff?
Chair Lee, I would move to authorize the approval of the purchase order to purchase the intercom system in the amount of $61,930 based on the GSA Schedule 84 contract with Cornerstone Detention Product and, is that right? Detention Product, yes, and authorize amendments to the purchase order.
I'll second that.
We have a motion to second authorize the approval of purchase order to purchase the intercom system in the amount of $61,930 based on GSA Schedule 84 contract with Cornerstone Detention Product and authorize amendments to the purchase order. Is there any further deliberations?
Is this went through this was the best bid, obviously, right?
We're doing it through a GSA contract, and so it was a national bid for these products and the cost of installation.
Because I don't know what a GSA.
GSA is federal pricing. That's actually the General Services Administration for the federal government, and it's not unusual in purchasing on the local level that you would purchase off a GSA list. These are prices basically that the federal government's already negotiated.
And and how long do they guarantee it? I mean, do they work out all the bugs for the same amount of money?
Yes, it's a better process because it gets us a qualified contractor who has evaluated our system, given us a price, and and this contractor's done a lot of work in our jail, and they're doing this type of system in many places in the U.S.
Okay, we have a motion to second. Seeing no further deliberations, all those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, David. Our next item is item 7B, which is fiscal year 2016-17 County Council Heather Reynolds contract amendment, page 21. May I have the staff report, please, Cameron?
Yeah, we, as you know, we contract with County Council each year. For the current budget year, the contract was for $75,000. Obviously, because we had a variety of legal issues that have gone on in this last year, we're going to exceed that amount if we continue to consult with County Council. So we're recommending that we amend that contract and increase it from $75,000 to $115,000 for the current fiscal year.
Thank you for that staff report. Is there any of the commissioners have any questions for staff?
I do.
Sure.
I'd like to make some of my concerns known. My concern here is that at this time last year, the commission approved the same kind of amendment for the county council, boosting the not to exceed amount of $75,000 in last year's contract with a $30,000 increase to $105,000. Now we're being asked to boost this year's contract of $75,000 max by $40,000 to $115,000. I think that I understand that doesn't involve an increase to council's $180 an hour rate, but rather that it's time needed that was underestimated. Still, I'm not comfortable with this trend, and I'm not understanding the staff report justification for the increase. The labor issues are given as a justification, but these issues relate to bargaining or revamping the compensation system, and surely these would have been anticipated in this year's budget. The charter review listed, but it's listed, but former Commissioner Roan seems to have effectively led the advisory group to recommendations that don't seem legally challenging or really even significant changes. And then FTLAC is listed, but as the forest rep, I can say that I haven't gone to council with any FTLAC issues, nor has the council talked with me about any. And so I'm a bit confused about why we have a contract with a not-to-exceed amount, if the expectation is that when we go over that amount, we are just agreed to adjust it up. Can you help me with these specific concerns?
Heather, did you want to address that, or?
Well, no, I'd be happy to respond to it. I think that we can't predict in any given year what type of legal issues or legal risks that we might face as a county. And I think the FTLAC was actually referring to the Lynn County lawsuit. I think that's really what that was in relationship to. And again, you know, we got hit with that lawsuit. We didn't ask for it. We didn't initiate it. We didn't expect it. But once it happens, I think there are certainly topics and times when it's very prudent to make sure that we do consult with county council before we make decisions that could visit, you know, significant liability on the county.
I agree, but aren't we, now, we're out of the lawsuit, so at this point, what are the costs?
Well, these are costs that have been incurred prior to this point. We are out of the lawsuit now. We aren't incurring any costs related to the lawsuit at this point.
Because it wasn't, during the discussion of the lawsuit, it was said that if, that we wouldn't, unless you're part of the suit, you wouldn't be incurring the costs. And so, can we just charge Lynn County these costs?
We could try it. I think I know what the answer would be, but again...
Well, I know what I'd like the answer to be.
Yeah, but as we were preparing for the lawsuit, you might recall that County Council did an extensive amount of research and extensive briefings for the commission last fall. These are our internal costs. These are getting our advice from our council so we could decide what position, what posture we wanted to take regarding the lawsuit. I'm not sure really that you can make an argument that those would be compensable, you know, by Lynn County or somebody else. I mean, if someone sues you, you go consult your attorney. That's what most people do.
So was Sure. So if the $30,000 increase from last year, was that not to cover the Lynn County lawsuit?
I don't know. I wouldn't really hear at the time. So
The fiscal year ends the end of June. And so at this time last year, I don't have anything to do with the budget, the county budgets. But you have hired me as your attorney at $180 an hour, and I send a bill every month, and the county manager reviews it, and it's paid. And when you're getting near the, you know, if you've used me more than was budgeted for at the start of the year, then there needs to be an adjustment, or you don't use county council. I mean, that's sort of the two choices. The other choice is to use a different county council, of course. So last year at this time, if there was an adjustment, and the year 2014-15 year, my billings were significantly lower than they had been, I believe, in the past, and definitely lower than they were last year with the transition to a new county manager. And so at this time last year, they came in and estimated that they'd need another $30,000 to cover for the year. This year, again, we did the 75, or the county estimated that. One of the things at that time is they decided to use me for the labor work for the most part, rather than the council that we had used before. And
why was that? I mean, so this is, that was one of the, I'm just trying to understand this. So that was one of the changes. You normally had gone with an employment
attorney who was $400 an hour, and I'm $180. So, amongst other reasons. But, so they, HR and the county manager, with the new HR person coming on board and the new county manager, have decided to use me more for those services than hiring the Portland labor attorney to come down.
So is this amount what's already been done, or is this what you're
No,
anticipating?
They're at the end of they've used most of the 75,000.
Right.
And so if they want to keep council for the rest of this fiscal year, they need to have more money
You mean
to do
until
that.
June?
Yeah.
Through the end of June.
Till
So
June 30.
you anticipate another $40,000 between now and June?
No, we anticipate that should be more than enough. If we underestimate, then it just means we have to come back. So we tend to try to pick a number that we think is going to be comfortably get us through the end of the year.
In a not-to-exceed amount.
It's a not to exceed.
Oh, so it's not that's in case it's needed. Is that what this is?
We will use some of it because I think, as Heather said, we've already pretty close to the 75,000 that we've already budgeted. We're roughly 3/4 of the way through the year, so we have another quarter of the year left. Now, we won't have really any expenses or any time spent on like the Lynn County lawsuit and other things. But there are things that come up on a regular basis in county government that do require the involvement of county council. I can't tell you what all those are going to be between now
Sure.
and the end of June.
So perhaps part of it is the not to exceed amount. Is that just budget language, or?
Well, it's basically budget law language. You have to set limits in your budget, and then under Oregon budget law, we can't exceed those limits. That's a violation of the law.
Okay.
So it's not uncommon, actually, not with all budget items, but we'll always have a few budget items. This time of the year, we might be coming and saying, okay, we need to do an adjustment on this budget because we're already running up against what you've authorized us to spend. And, you know, we anticipate we'll incur some additional expenses between now and the end of the year. So,
But, okay, so when we're dealing with the budget, that's going to be another contract. This is just until June.
yes, you will approve a budget number in next year's budget, which starts July 1, and that will be our not-to-exceed number for that 12-month period, July 1 of this year through June 30th of next year, and we'll have a contract that reflects that.
It's quite common that we do these budget adjustments at the end of the year.
Okay.
You know, it's just basically raising the bar a little, you know, and for unforeseen. It's common this time of year to have that happen. In fact, there's going to probably be one or two more before June to come before you.
Well, there'll be one at the next meeting, I can
Yeah,
tell
and
you.
so I would encourage you, if you're need some clarification of this and how the budget amendment process works, is that Cam would be more than happy to fill you in.
Sure.
In a meeting, so you could really understand exactly.
Well, I think it's also important that we do this in a way that the public can also understand. I mean, that's why I'm here, is I'm speaking for the public, so I don't mind asking this. If you don't mind answering, I don't have a problem with that, so.
Nope, that's what I'm here for.
The budget law is really complicated. It took me a couple budget cycles before my head stopped spinning, and then was able to really get my head around the budget. So, you know, I'm really encouraged by your thoughtful digging in there. It's encouraged, and it's important as our main fiduciary responsibility as commissioners.
Yeah, and I do think it's fair to say, I think Heather touched on this very briefly, but obviously with the new county manager transitioning in and a couple of lawsuits that came up during the course of the year, you know, it's been, for me at least, as a new county manager, to be able to consult with county council. I probably have done that more the first year than I might the second year. Once you go through something the first time, you say, okay, now I know exactly what we need to do with that. I may not need to spend as much time with county council as we go forward.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing if there's no more questions or
Thank
comments
you.
for staff, I would look for a motion.
Charlie, I move to approve the fiscal year 2016-17 contract amendment with the County Council, Heather Reynolds, and authorize the county manager to sign.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve fiscal year 2016-17 contract amendment with County Council Heather Reynolds and authorize the county manager to sign. Seeing no further deliberations, all those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Our next item on the business agenda is item 7H. Consider initiating vacation of a portion of Electric Avenue and a portion of Ridge Road, page 57. And we're going to have staff Vance Swenson from the county surveyor. And thank you. May I have the staff report, please?
Yeah, good evening, members of the board. Chair Lee, I'm Vance Swenson, the county surveyor. This is Michael Summers, the public works director and the county engineer. So tonight we have a consent, well, it's pulled off the consent, so we have an issue before you. It's kind of to kick off a process set out by state statute, the vacation of public right-of-way. And this particular one is along Ridge Road, a little bit south of the soccer fields out there. And so we received a petition from Richard Johnson, an owner out there, but the fee for it. So there's usually a couple of steps. This is the very first. It's kind of just to kick it off. You'll authorize, if you approve it, you'll order the roadmaster's report, and that will kind of begin having staff dig into it. I have, in this particular one, luckily, for at least the surveying, the right-of-way portion, done quite a bit of research. This particular area is kind of would be a good upper level college surveying question or something, so it took a little more to do, so I'd be willing to answer that. So the options to consider would be to approve the resolution in order, and then the other option would be to not accept the road vacation petition. Typically, I think Heather could clarify, but by law, I think we're required to accept any petition unless there was some reason that there wasn't enough signatures or something wasn't in order.
Yeah, thank you for that staff report. It seems everything's very clear here. The rules have been followed. So basically, did you have a question? Sure, go ahead. Sure.
Thank you. I'm just curious, I mean, this is a transfer from public land to private ownership, correct? Because it's a road?
Yep, and specifically, it's, Clatsop County acquires nearly all of their right-of-way and road right-of-way as an easement. And so an easement, in simple terms, is a right to use someone else's property without actually owning it. And so it could be as simple as a water line across your neighbor's property, or something is a little more onerous as a public right-of-way. That's the public, me, you, and someone who lives in Portland, Maine, has the right to travel across someone else's ownership. So there's a little bit of a distinction between a public right-of-way that Clatsop County has jurisdiction over and the land that this building sits on, where we own it, kind of fee simple. So that factors into this. This particular vacation process is a tool that's specifically to take and dispose of that public right-of-way. It's not the tool that you would use to have the county dispose of or sell county land.
So, yeah, so how long has the county known that this, because this person is saying they can't sell it without this? So how long did the county know that this was a problem? Has this been a problem, or?
Yeah, actually, back in this particular residence, back in 2005, I believe, it came up, where not only does, if you look at your map, it not only at the time in 2005 was there a little piece that was in the right-of-way, but there was also to the north county property that I believe is county parkland, and actually a larger portion of the house sat on that land, and that was the fee simple land. So at that time, we, through the county lands department, traded fee simple ownership land for another piece that the owner owned. At that time, I believe, I could be wrong, that the owner just wasn't ready or willing to do the vacation, which is a little more of a process that takes a little longer.
Okay. So because of this piece of land that's problematic, they can't legally sell it, they can't, the title or something, and so now he's ready to move in a different direction, and he needs to go through the process.
Yep.
But the county, the previous trade, the county has already kind of figured that out.
And long since taken
Okay.
care of and done.
All right.
So it's, yeah.
Appreciate your explanation, thank you.
Sure.
You want to make a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion. If I can find it. Thanks. I move to accept the petition for vacation of portions of Electric Avenue and Ridge Road and authorize the board to sign the resolution in order.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the petition for vacation of portions of Electric Avenue and Ridge Road and authorize the board chair to sign the resolution of order. Seeing no further deliberations, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, staff. Our final item on the business agenda tonight is item 7I, the courthouse roof project construction contract, page 65. Mr. Deffenbach, you're on.
Good evening again, Commissioners. This is a request to authorize us to contract with professional quality roofing to install a new roof on the courthouse. The roof is on the courthouse right now is from the mid-90s. It's long past needing to be replaced. We had luckily 4 bids to replace this and got a favorable bid for just under $74,000. If there's any questions, I will be happy to answer them.
Great, thank you, David. I see here that basically this was included in the 2016-17 budget for special projects, so we already had that on target. Fairly straightforward. Looks like we came in with $74,000. And this is PQR is basically just did Stevenson. I just recently drove through Stevenson. I didn't notice the roof, but this looks good. So if any of the commissioners have any questions for staff?
I just have one question. I was looking, they're not doing a tear off?
No, we're going to put this roof on over the existing roof.
Why is that? Just curious.
The existing roof, you know, was put on right after a structural upgrade, so it's the first roof that's on there, and it was probably not a super expensive roof at the time, so it just has a base layer and a top cap, and they're going to adhere to that, and it saves a lot of money to have them tear off the other roof, and this new roof is a single ply, so it's a lot lighter of a roof.
Okay. Thank you, I was just curious.
Yep, no problem.
You want to make a motion?
Oh, I think someone else should make a motion.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, did you have a question?
No, I do not.
Well, I'll look for a motion.
Yes. Yes. I move to authorize the county manager to sign a contract with Professional Quality Roofing in the amount of $74,000 and authorize the county manager to sign contract amendments.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to authorize the county manager to sign a contract with Professional Quality Roofing LLC in the amount of $74,000 and authorize the county manager to sign contract amendments. Seeing no further deliberations, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now we're moving on here to commissioners' reports. Commissioner, I'll go with Commissioner Thompson first. Leanne, thank you for making it through the meeting tonight. Can we have your report, please?
Well, I'll tell you, let me just make this short right now because it's been interesting listening to the sound quality over this connection. I'll just tell you that I'm doing what I do so often, which is to go outside Clatsop County to build relationships so I can bring resources back to Clatsop County so that we have housing and fuel and manufacturing and a whole long list of stuff. This resilience conference allows me to ask good questions and to build relationships so that when we're in need, as we expect to be, we'll get a good response from our partners all over the state, and including the federal government. So that's it for now.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Sullivan?
Okay. I have a couple questions. One, I'm hoping, and Cam, you can answer this during your thing, is about the recycling contract. I'm just hoping for progress on that. And then I talked to Michael about the West Park project and the plan, so I'm going to get together with him and probably Cam and to find out more about what's happening out in my district. I attended the North Coast Senior Disability, is that, maybe I'm getting my things, did I already do that last?
North Coast Senior and Disabilities meeting?
Is that from the last meeting?
This is.
Anyways, I'm a part of the Northwest Senior Disability Board, and because of that, I'm now also involved with the Clatsop Senior Care Network, which is a great, really great group of people. And we meet on the first Monday of the month, and they are planning 2 events. One is on health literacy, and that's going to be May 2nd. It's a Tuesday out at the Astoria Golf and Country Club, and it's free. It's an all-day event. There's a portion of, they're going to have flyers up soon. And I can get the information to you, Teresa, for the caregivers and the professionals, then also for people that have family members or concerns themselves. How do you talk to your doctor? How do you figure this stuff out? It's a health literacy. It's very important. And then on June 7th, it's further out. They're going to have one at the Holiday Inn on dementia care. And Joyce Beadle, who is a known person who works with this issue, is going to come in and talk. Friday, I'm going to the North Coast Opioid and Substance Use Summit in Seaside. That's an all-day thing. As you know, we have a huge problem nationwide and locally. And so I'm going to find out what I can about it, and they will address some policy issues because I'm obviously not a direct care person for that. And then Saturday, April 15th, Suzanne Bonamici is U.S. Representative Suzanne Bonamici will be giving a town hall meeting at the Warrenton High School from 11 to noon. And there's this coming week, on the 21st, I'll be going to County College out in the Dells. It's going to be on safety issues, so they'll be talking about law enforcement and things like that. So I'm going to miss the tour opportunity in Clackamas that the AOC is putting on. I don't know if anyone else is going to be able to attend that for their county transition center. It's kind of a one-stop center that they deal with employment issues, housing issues, abuse issues, all sorts of things. It sounded like a very interesting concept. And I was just wondering if anybody was going to attend that. And then I'd like to thank the department heads that came to the goal-setting meeting last week. And I'm looking forward to the next goal-setting meeting. Because I think that I'm looking forward to talking with my fellow commissioners about rules and different things that I think that we need to talk about, including goals. And one of the things that I would like to ask is that we have the evaluation of the county manager, extend that deadline so that we have a chance to talk to each other about the process. I just think that would be important, so that's what I'm asking for. And then the other thing that I'm going to ask about is the budget distribution. It looks like it's going to be distributed May 1st, but the first lay committee person will be May 9th, which was changed, but is there any way that we can get that budget earlier than that date?
Yeah, we may get it out a little bit before that. We picked that date because it's a comfortable date. We know we'll get it done and have it out by then, but it's possible it could be a little bit before that.
And then maybe next year, maybe we can lengthen it out a little bit longer, because to get a big, huge document like that, and we all are working, and I just would like to have a little more time with it. So I can't, I hope that's all I have to say. I guess I've said enough, so thank you.
Commissioner Nebeker.
Yes, all I have is I attended the Public Safety Coordinating Council meeting, and it was an informal meeting since we didn't have a quorum, but our district attorney, Josh Markey, enlightened us on a few items. We are the 5th highest in the state for property crimes. I don't know why, but he doesn't know, but it could have to do with tourism. It could have to do with substance abuse. 42% of DUIs here are non-residents. That's why I said maybe it's tourism.
Yeah, that's telling.
42. And this is good. At the respite center, the beds used are up. Numbers of beds are up, so they're not losing money now at this time. 8 out of 16 are filled. The break-even point is, well, that as of the meeting. The break-even point is 7.5 to 8. 57 clients have been served since the opening. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Clement.
I don't have anything to report this month.
Thank you. I have a few things. The first thing I'd like to, I made a mistake last month, and I'd like to apologize to the board. I thought I sent the evaluation documents out on the March 8th. In fact, I was sure I was so overly confident. And I apologize because I went back after we'd gotten some emails saying, oh, you wanted this my gentle reminder that they're due on the 28th. And then I realized that I went back and did some research and found that I didn't send out.
So happy to hear that.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't get it.
I looked.
I really apologize for that. That's totally on me. And so I apologize to staff and the commissioners for that mistake.
Is it possible to get a printed copy of that?
Of the evaluation?
I have it now from.
Yeah, of course, you can. Well,
Well, I have trouble printing from this, and this is where I get all the county email. So.
Yeah, I do too.
Thank you.
So
Well,
maybe-
but not on this.
Right, I can send it in the mail too.
Oh, okay, fine.
And
Yeah,
I have a
okay.
question, if you don't mind interrupting.
Sure.
Is there a way to get it in PDF form that we can, or an Adobe that we can edit? It's open, because I have it.
yeah, that would be good.
But I can't edit it. I can't fill in right now. So right now.
Thank you, Robin.
I have it from you. I just can't, I can't enter anything.
No, right now, the performance review form is a fillable document. What would probably be the simplest way to do this is for you to print the document, handwrite whatever you're going to do, and it will be tabulated, because this is a collective review, and that's what happened last time, was it was tabulated. So you submit your reviews without your names on them. I will tabulate them, and it all gets funneled back through to Commissioner Lee, and then he vets it with you folks.
I remember that from last time.
I appreciate that input. I didn't know that.
Right, so I simply just do the behind-the-scenes tabulation. I give that data all to Commissioner Lee, so he knows, and he makes sure that I haven't missed any details. But I don't want any names on those documents for your own,
So we'll just print them out and hand them to you.
Give them to
Hand them
Commissioner
to
Lee.
you.
Give
Great.
them to Commissioner Lee. He'll then get them to me for.
And that was, again, my bad, because that was explained in the
I remember
original
that from
document.
last year.
Yeah, and let me address the issue with PDFs and the computer, because I've had the same problem. And so I have a Microsoft, you have an iPad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so we're going to have to kind of maybe, this is just some thought.
I can
We're
print
going to
fine
have to
from
kind of work to solve that, so you can be able to print documents easily.
Yeah, that would
I've
be
run
good.
into
I
that.
just don't know how to do
Like,
that.
for instance, with me, I was able to autofill for half the document, and then I did something wrong, and then the document locked on me. And so these are kind of, I think a lot of times it's just learning how to make this work and getting Apple to talk to the printer.
I can easily print these and bring them,
Yeah.
each of you a copy, whatever makes this easy. It is difficult when Apple products don't integrate with Microsoft products, and that's not unusual.
Well, my home computer is Apple, and it works fine, but I just don't know how to link this to that. I don't know.
Yeah, I've had those problems. You know, IT has been very helpful for me where.
Maybe I should go to IT.
Linking my phone or to my email.
What?
I can work with you as well. And any one of you just call me and I'll do whatever I need to do.
And
But
Chairman,
in the short run, if you want to just print the document, handwrite your information, again, turn it into Commissioner Lee, and then when Commissioner Lee has everything, he'll have me tabulate everything.
I have a question about the evaluation, because I was going to bring this up at the goal-setting meeting about, in the rules, it said that we're supposed to have the ends policy defined, and that hasn't been defined, and that was supposed to be part of the evaluation. And I know
I
at
don't
this
think
point,
that's not defined in the, as far as I know.
I know it's not defined, that's the problem. But
Well,
that was supposed to
That's
be.
a conversation for another time, because I don't
Okay.
agree with that.
Okay, but that's, what I'm saying is, the reason I would like to have us be able to talk together, but what exactly it is, this evaluation, maybe it's just because I'm new, but we just tabulate I saw your presentation earlier. So this is the evaluation that's been decided for this year?
That's right.
Correct.
That's the situation that we have. So what we're talking about now is what the deadline is going to be?
No, we're not talking about that either, but I can't.
Well, I hope we do.
I'm doing my commissioner reports right now.
Well, I'm sorry, I thought we were allowed to ask questions. I will
No, you
sit
are.
back and listen.
And so the question is that Commissioner Nebaker asked, is that you were asking, is that we would like some time after the 14th. Is that what you're asking for?
Yes, I'm asking for an extension.
So I think, can we do that, Robin? Can we extend down to the end of the month? I mean, that's up to me.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is your process, so I'm simply
It's
a
just the only
support.
thing is basically, I have no problem with moving it on, but we are kind of falling behind, and it's important that we kind of get on this.
Oh, I agree, but, you know,
So,
we're
what-
behind in the rules,
what
we're
time
behind in the charter, so I think another month is not going to hurt anything.
Okay, well, how about to the end of April?
Well, the problem with that is I have a very busy schedule next week and the week after. I know, Teresa, we're talking about having a goal-setting meeting on the 2nd. You know, what does it hurt to extend it, you know?
Well, I mean, it's not, it doesn't take that long to fill out.
No, I don't imagine it does, but I think there are some, I don't think it would hurt for us to talk. Are we not allowed to talk to each other about it, or?
What do you mean?
I mean, I guess I'm not fully understanding the process of the evaluation.
Well,
What
my
are,
suggestion, my suggestion would be, in this situation here, with all due respect, is that if you have questions concerning the process, you're welcome to contact Robin to ask some of those pertinent questions. But as far as putting off the date, if you want to put this off till May 14th, that's not my recommendation. I would prefer to go to the end of the month. But, you know, under the circumstances and considering I didn't get get it out on proper notice, if you want, I'll look for consensus by the board if they want to go to the 15th of May, or should we stick to the end of this month? And I'm looking around here.
If it's okay, if it isn't going to cause problems, I think I'm okay with accommodating Commissioner Sullivan, but I don't know. Is it going to cause problems?
Okay.
It certainly won't for me. My role is simply to provide support, administrative support to you all. This is your process and your decision, and I'm just here to support whatever you decide.
That's exactly right. And so if I'll go ahead and extend this to May 15th, and about talking amongst ourselves. So there's issues with that. And I would encourage you to talk to county council concerning, particularly deliberating by email.
Oh, I have no
Problematic.
intention of deliberating by
And so
email. That's why I wanted to have a
basically,
public meeting and talk amongst ourselves.
that is problematic also. If we were to have a conversation, it would probably have to be in an executive meeting.
That's
An
okay.
executive session, and we can talk about that at a future time. And if you want to connect with me on a one-on-one, we can talk about whether or not we want to conduct an executive session concerning this. And so that's how that would work. It wouldn't be in a public meeting. Obviously, we're not going to
Oh,
discuss.
I don't have a problem with it. I'm just trying to figure out the process of, what are the what are the boundaries here? What are
Exactly.
we supposed to do? That's all I'm trying to find out here.
Okay,
I'm not
that's fine.
saying I have any big plan or anything.
So I appreciate that. And so feel free to contact me or Robin for clarification about how we can proceed forward so you're comfortable with the evaluation.
And if I'm able to get it done before May 15th, I'm more than happy to do that. I just have enough
That's great.
pressure.
Thank you, Robin.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the evaluation piece, and thanks for the conversation there. I attended the Northwest Oregon Housing Authority meeting, and it was nice to get the update from CCA. We're confronting a lot of issues over the next year. It'll be interesting. We talked about a number of issues. Basically, NOAA, I know the CCHA, which is our board, Clatsop County Housing Authority, is ready to continue with the merger and complete the merger. And basically, the two properties that are the sticklers are the Clatsop Shores property, which we've talked quite extensively about, and the Seaside. In conversations with the board of NOAA, I think that NOAA is in a comfortable position to accept these final two properties and then continue to make a decision as a NOAA independent board if the CCHA board is willing to sign off. And so I probably will be bringing either next month or the following month NOAA's offer concerning those two properties and working towards the dissolution of CCHA, which has been in process for, I think, 4 years or more.
4 years.
Yeah. I attended the Oregon Coastal Zone Management Association meeting, the Legislative Executive Committee, and the General Membership Committee meeting, and I had forwarded to the board the recommendations and policy recommendations that the association is making. Representative David Brock-Smith from the 1st District down south has been very active in Oregon Coastal Zone and has brought forward a number of different bills. And if you need to read about them, the newsletter is out, and a list of all the bills and also other bills that are important to coastal counties are in that attachment. And I encourage you to look at all those bills, and particularly any of the bills that Oregon Coastal Zone Management Association has signed off on supporting. And if you have any individual concerns about that, definitely, forward those to me. It's important that we work on, open transparency and communication concerning when the Coastal Zone Management Association endorses a certain bill in Salem. There's going to be the general membership meeting of the Oregon Coastal Zone Management Association in Salem on May 22nd. And that's going to be very informative. And so if you do have some items or bills that are in the hopper or in committee that you would like the Coastal Zone Management Association to weigh in on, please get in touch with me on that. And that's all I have.
I'd asked earlier if we could go back to having our communication with Senator Johnson. It alternated between Senator Johnson and Representative Boone, so that, a call-in.
Yeah.
It would have helped me. It would, to
It's nice to get those updates.
be more informed about what things we need to pay attention to. There's just so much, and it's hard to sift through it, and that was really helpful because they would tell us, this will affect you, or
Yeah, I think I remember we did that, and it was, there was a couple problems. It was like 7:30 in the morning. And,
That was a problem, but still.
But I think that's very good, and I think it would be great to have some reports. Whenever I get a chance to Representative Boone or Senator Johnson, when I run into them at a meeting or whenever I can, I try to find out what's the hot topic.
Well, can we go back to that?
We could, and you can also put in a phone call and just chat too.
Well, that's not so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at our first goal-setting session, actually, that was sort of one of the things that you indicated that you wanted to do. So I'm working on trying to get those set up.
Okay.
I actually did speak with Senator Johnson this morning, actually. So just trying to see what we can do. They're getting crunching down to end of session, too. So she's like, things are crazy, and she doesn't have as much time.
And we have to notice it is a public meeting, and those are other considerations. But I think it's really important that we kind of keep track of that. And that's, get a chance to take a look at some of those bills of concern to the coastal counties and see where that is. One of the interesting ones that's going down now is the rent issues that are going on in the legislature, and it narrowly passed the House. And
Oh, it did?
Yes, and Senator Johnson is against it. And it looks like it may fall in the Senate. So, depending on your individual feelings about that bill, definitely that's an opportunity to reach out and let Senator Johnson know how you feel about that. I certainly intend to. I think she already has heard my opinion on that through the grapevine.
Was this for all rents, or this is homes?
This
or
is
what
for statewide no-cause eviction. Yeah, no-cause eviction.
Oh, that's what it, no cause eviction.
There's also an issue that's going to come up over the next
So it's not
year.
rent control? No.
Well, no, not rent control, but see, there is an.
Because I know they talked about that.
Portland is taking the lead on this, and City Council, or Chloe Duali, has really taken a lead on not only on a Portland's city level, but on a state level, to bring some of these issues into the legislature, and it's quite interesting, and I've been keeping close track of it, and so I think Senator Johnson has her views on it, and I have mine, and it'll be interesting to see how this works its way through the Senate. So, other than that, was there any other items? I'm going to go ahead and County Manager Moore.
Yeah, just 5 things quickly, a couple of which we've already touched on, but we, I think, are pretty close to confirming everybody for our third goal-setting session on May 3rd at 5 p.m. So hopefully everybody will be able to devote a few hours that evening. Second thing, I know we've talked about this in the past. This is not completely confirmed yet, but I'm still working on trying to set up the joint city-county meeting. And it's starting to look like May 17th is working, but I still have not heard from a couple of municipalities.
Countywide leaders meeting.
So again, continue to work on that, but again, a lot of busy people, and it's difficult to find a day just to get around the schedule of city council and county board meetings every week is difficult. So. Another issue, which I know we've talked about in the past, I'll give you a little bit of an update. Hopefully I'll have a little bit more in a couple of days, but we've all been, and I want to say patiently, but I know we're not that patient at this point for the public access cable channel here. I gave you a little bit of this before, but in some of the more recent conversations that I had with Charter, they were basically saying there's no cable to this building. If you want to broadcast from this building, you're going to have to pay us to run cable. Fortunately, previous county manager kept some pretty good notes and emails on this, and so I went back through the files and pointed out to them that I have emails from you in writing saying the service will be complimentary to the Boynton building. I received a call back maybe Thursday or Friday of last week saying, yeah, we're gonna get that done for you. I spoke with Charter again today. I said, okay, now you've said you're gonna get it done at no cost to us. Could you give me a time frame? And unfortunately, the person I spoke with today wasn't able to do that. She thought that she would be able to in the next couple of days. So hopefully we'll finally be able to bring that chapter of this to the end, and then we'll move on to the chapter of actually broadcasting live. So continue to work on that. Commissioner Sullivan had asked earlier about the house in Alderbrook. I did go out to that facility, it's been a few weeks ago now, with both CCA and also the Community Action Team to take a look at that property. I spoke with the Community Action Team twice since then. They initially called back, said, yeah, we have some interest. I called them earlier this week just to say, can you give me an update as to where you are with your interest? They're basically having discussions with the city of Astoria to understand what they can and cannot do with that property. And so they said, we're still interested. We're not sure yet what we might do because they have to get guidance from the city about what is and isn't permitted, zoning, et cetera. So, but they've indicated again, they are interested in that. Commissioner Sullivan also asked, I'm not sure how many of the rest of you are aware about the recycling location, but over a year ago, Recology used to have a drop-off recycling site out in the Napa area. The person that owned that didn't want them to use the land for that anymore, so they had to pull it out of there. And so we had been having discussions kind of off and on, probably since last summer, about, is there another place out there that they could put a drop-off recycling location? And they were looking, we were looking. It wasn't looking too good, but you may recall, I believe in December of this year, we actually purchased some additional land adjacent to our substation and public works facility out there. And at that point, I thought, I wonder if we maybe now have enough location that we can accommodate this. And so happy to say that we've offered that to Recology. They've accepted that as a location, and the agreement is being circulated for signatures. Once it's once it's signed, I don't know, it might still be a couple of weeks before they get something out there. And this all sounds great, and it is great. One of the issues you have with these drop-off centers that are not supervised 24/7 is, a lot of things end up there that are not recyclable. And that's why, they have to be in the right location. We want to make sure we have some assurances from Recology that if a lot of things end up there that are not recyclable, the county's not responsible for that. But looks like we're on track, and I don't know, maybe by the end of the month, they might have something out there. So,
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
so, and I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody has.
All right, thank you for that. Oh, yeah?
I have a question. First of all, thank you very much for the charter review notes. I appreciate getting those. And I'm just wondering when those would be up on the website.
As soon as we can get them up there, the committee hasn't sort of completely finished, and it's still possible they might meet one more time, and they have to make that decision. We kind of left the last meeting. They felt their work was pretty well done, but obviously they wanted to review drafts of any recommendations before they decided whether to meet again. So.
Thank you.
All right, meeting's adjourned.